Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video here. Today we are going to be looking at a multi-day runner, ticker symbol LGVN. Make sure, like always, you guys are hitting that like, subscribe, post notification bell, and also sharing out this video, guys, because if you haven't already seen, we are creating various series of different video strategies here on this channel. A couple of the strategies. One is the breakout that has been taking place over the month of March. It has been a tremendous time for stocks that have been breaking out, running over 100%, in a couple of instances over 300 and even 400%. So it's very, very important, guys. If you haven't already, make sure you have subscribed to this channel. Make sure again that you're hitting the like and the post notification bell, and that you're sharing this out, guys, because we want to be equipped and ready for when the breakouts take place. You guys can see and understand exactly what it is that we're looking at, and also understand that these things are moving in a very specific kind of way. So, with that being said, LGVN is what we have on our screen. Like always, we are using TD Ameritrade, which is the Think or Swim platform. I find it's just very, very easy to be able to navigate, especially from an instructional standpoint, being able to identify levels and things of that nature. So, with all that being said, let's jump on in. We can take a look and see what we got going on. So as you can see, we're in the 5-day, 5-minute. For the people who have watched my videos before, you will notice that when we're doing our breakdown, normally I am in this time frame. I just find that it's very, very easy for us to still be able to see the moves without there being too much busyness on the actual screen itself. So as you can see, you have LGVN. Looks like going back to after hours here is when, when you had the pre-market, because this is the pre-market gray area here, is when you had the movement first take place. And this would have been on Thursday, as you can see here at the bottom. Now, guys, one thing for the people who are new here, bottom of the screen indicates the volume. Okay, and we're going to talk about why this is important. And obviously up here, this kind of gives you the time frames. The darker gray area, or what you can call black, is the current trading day or the normal trading hours. This part here, which is inside the cursor, is pre-market, and this is after hours here. Okay, so if you need a little more elaboration on that, please go back to some of the previous videos that I have. I go into a little more depth there. For the sake of time, I'm going to assume that you guys kind of know that information. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to highlight this area here because I want to take a look at what happened pre-market as well as after hours. Okay, so as you can see here, these candles, these solid green candles, you'll see um, first 10 minutes of the pre-market, you had that nice little run up here. Looks like it opened at 713, got to 812. That's almost 1 point right there, guys. Now, the vast majority of us wouldn't be in this particular stock at this time of day because, as you can see, on the West Coast, that's 4:30 in the morning. Most people aren't up trading that early. However, it does give us a really good gauge and a really good idea of what it is that is happening. I am in the western part of the United States, so for me, I tend to get up about 45 minutes before market open. So I'm normally up around 5:45 or so, just getting a good gauge to see what is moving and what has the potential to be able to break out once we get market open at 6:30. Okay, so as you can see, you have this movement here. So in the first 20 minutes, you see that there's upward movement with three green candles. Okay, so that gives us a really good idea that there's a nice level of push here. Not to mention the fact that we have to look at the volume, right? As you can see, we start off with 75,000 shares in the 5 minutes. then we go to 210,000. That's a pretty drastic jump, guys. Because what that's telling me is that in the first 5 minutes, you had 75,000 shares traded. The next 5 minutes, 210,000. That's an indication that people either saw these on scanners or identified pretty early on that there was some nice movement going on, and they wanted to jump in it here and kind of solidify some profit early on. You get the one red candle here, but this is the kind of red candle that we like to see. Smaller red candle with wicks on both sides. That's normally an indication. Most times, not all, but most times, there's a really good chance that the next candle is going to be green, which we ended up seeing. Now, in the red candle, if you notice, you had to open at the 868. The high was 888, and the low was 850. So that was a really small range there. Okay, but yet and still it traded 273,000 shares. So if you go back here to the candle before, you had a range. Excuse me, you had a volume of 210,000 shares with a range of almost 1 point. Um, or actually, it was basically 1 point because the high on this candle was 878, low was 787. So it's practically 1 point. So with that being said, first two candles here, people practically made 2 points. Okay. Now again, for most of us, we're gonna wait for this. Um, we're gonna wait for the stock to kind of materialize and start to kind of form here. So this is what it does in essence. We get the first level here at the 947. Okay. Then we get the nice little pullback here, and it kind of bases out the 866, and then you get some nice little range work here. Okay, guys, so you get that nice little range here, and then you get some nice consolidation. Once you get that consolidation there, as you can see, we get market open. The first green candle here, we get 5 million shares traded, actually 5.7. That's a tremendous amount. Now, one thing that you do notice here is that the wick kind of hits that $10 range, but it doesn't break it. So at this point, I definitely would have been watching this. I wouldn't have gotten in here. And actually, I think I did take a trade on this stock. I'm going to go back and verify. But I think I can tell you where I got in and out at. Yes, yes, I did. And so, in essence, I'll kind of show you that as well. But we can see here on the first candle, we had the 5.7 million that was traded here. Didn't break the $10 range. Okay, so at this point, what I did is I ended up putting an alert on the actual stock itself. Now the funny thing is I actually missed it, and so that's part of the reason why I wanted to make this video as well, because there's multiple ways and multiple things that you can do um, when you're trying to trade breakouts like this. So as you can see, for the first, we want to say, well, yeah, over an hour, you get this consolidation zone, right, where it doesn't really break under 884, but it doesn't break over 1015, and that's with the second candle of the day. Okay, so at this point, if you're watching this stock, I definitely would have set an alert at the 1015 to see if there was a breakout there, which obviously we get a little later on in the morning, right around here with this candle. Breaks the level of the 1015, and as you can see, what happens next is we get about we get one, two, three, four, five. We get five green candles in a row. So what that tells us is that after you get the breakout of the 1015, basically for 30 minutes, this thing goes without a red candle. Okay. So if you set your alert here and were able to get in anywhere in that 10, 15 to 20 zone, you would have did really well getting into the 1197 to 12 range. Now, the funny thing about this, guys, is like I said, I didn't get in this first zone here. Um, I was actually doing other things, and what I did was I said, okay, because this had some strong volume today, and there really wasn't a lot of movement downward. When the pullback took place, it pulled back to 1062. this is an interesting zone, guys. The reason why I say that is because what we tend to normally look for, myself particularly, is I tend to look for a pullback back to the original breakout point, which would have been that 1016. Well, the pullback never got that far. It only went to 1062 and then down to 1046. So when I saw that looking at the chart, I said, okay, this is probably primed for another move. And so what I did is I set my next alert here at around the 10, I think it was 10:15 range, because I knew if it got there again, I would definitely buy in. So that's exactly what I did. Is I set my alert at the 10:15 range, I believe, and obviously we got there with this huge candle. Now I got in here at the zone. All I was looking for was 50 to 75 cents, guys, because I knew there was a nice amount of run up that had taken place. I didn't deal with, the whole FOMO thing and say, oh my God, I got to get a point or two because it has run so much. I said, listen, let me get anywhere from 50 to 75 cents, and I would be good to go. So obviously getting in at that 12, 15 range, somewhere around here. I get out somewhere in this zone here on this wick. So as you can see, and if you go back to my previous video, guys, you'll kind of notice that for the most part, I'm the type of person I like to get into something and get out of it. I'm not the type that like to hold the entire day. There's a lot of traders out there that are like that, and the philosophy works for them, and that's wonderful. I'm the type of person I like to see when volume has increased. I like to get in on strength and get out on strength. As you can see here, the time of day again is power hour. So we're moving into that 10, 11:15 range Pacific time. Again, guys, if you haven't seen my other videos, I kind of speak on that too. So by all means, please go back and review those other videos because I go very in depth into Power Hour and why it's so important. But we're seeing a lot of movement in Power Hour. Basically, we're seeing a lot of movement at the beginning of the trading day. We're getting some good movement into the 9 o'clock hour Pacific time, and then we're getting movement into the power hour, which is 11:15. Guys, these are trends, these are patterns. This is the reason why I'm creating so many videos showing you guys these patterns, because they're forming back to back to back to back. And right now, while they're still taking place, we're going to take advantage of that. Okay? So as you can see, we had the initial move here. We had the 9 o'clock movement there. We had the power hour movement here. Again, I was able to get into power hour. I stayed in the stock about 15 to 20 minutes, got out. Could have stayed in a little longer because, as you can see, there was a tremendous move into the close, and the high point was 14.29. Now, what you get is you get the movement after hours peaking out the 1474. Now remember, guys, we're only looking at one day here, and I kind of want to isolate that on this particular video, but kind of now step back and give you the whole view, because we just looked at this zone here. As you can see, there was pullback again into this 1185 range, and then massive blowout right into the pre-market for the next day, which was the Friday. This is another telltale sign, guys, because when we see stocks that move like this, part of the reason is because shorts may be caught in the stock. When shorts are caught in the stock, you will see some nice price action into Friday, because of the fact that most shorts do not want to hold their position into the weekend. What tends to happen with a lot of shorts is that it becomes an expensive proposition to be able to hold stocks either overnight or into the weekend, because what happens is you have these brokerages that will charge you extra to do that. So that's another telltale sign that you see, guys. So as you can see, tremendous movement in the pre-market. And let's just zero in on this, because one thing you'll see, again, we're in the 15-minute candle now. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So basically 150 minutes where you get a straight green candles, right? That's a tremendous amount of time, guys. That's a blowout, okay? So that's one thing that we saw on the 15-minute chart, when we kind of make it bigger here, right? So these are all telltale signs, guys. Now, as a general rule, I do not trade pre-market or after hours, I normally tend to just trade um, the normal business trading time. But again, if you're, the type of person that's up extremely early, you can catch these and make a good amount of money. All right, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it here for this video. A lot to unpack. If you guys missed anything or you need to go back over it, please make sure you review this video again. There's a ton of content here that you can go over. A lot of different viewpoints and vantage points as far as support and resistance levels. You guys can also tell that I am bullish on this as well. Again, I am not a financial advisor, guys, just making these videos for your enjoyment and just giving you guys little insights on some of the things that we do. But again, make sure you're hitting that like, subscribe, post notification bell, and sharing out this video because we are going to be bringing you more of these in the coming days, weeks, and months. So next time, guys, we will see you in the next video.